screen, Senator Tim Cain said yesterday that, talking about immigration and executive orders, he said Congress should act, but he also says where the president can act, he should. Is the president receptive to this type of advocacy from senior members of his own party on this issue?
I mean, look, the senior senator, you're speaking about a senator, bipartisan agreement that came out of the Senate to deal with immigration policy and the challenges at the border. There was a bipartisan agreement that if it went into life, if it gone through the process of the Senate in the House and the president got it to his desk and signed it, it would have been the toughest and fairest action on immigration in decades, in years. And so that is what the president continues to speak to. We believe that is the direction to go. That is the way that we can stand on some legal ground here, and we know that it was done in a bipartisan way to move it forward. And so that's what this president wants to see. Obviously, we're in constant conversation, communication with leadership in Congress. That is something that we do pretty regularly. But there's a deal. There was a deal that was made. And the last president, President Trump, said to Republicans, some of you reported this, to reject that deal because it would hurt him politically. And that's not what we're about here. What the president wants to focus on is what Americans care about. And majority of Americans care about what's happening at the border. And we took a step to do that. We took a step. The president, along with Republicans in the Senate, Democrats in the Senate, took a step to actually deal with this issue. We've been very clear about executive actions. Will we look at executive actions to see what could work? Sure, we always do that. But here's the thing. What we understand, the bottom line is that we have to move forward with legislative action to actually make a difference here. And that's what we want to see. Executive action won't do it. It won't have the impact that this bipartisan agreement, negotiation that came to fruition.
Do you have any expectation, though, that Congress is going to act? That deal's been out there for a while. Congress is out for the next couple of weeks. The former president is against it. His party's now against it.
I hear you.
But in that case, I mean, Congress, often doesn't deliver what you guys want. Isn't that where then the White House steps in?
I hear you. So look, we were able to get some additional funding for border security operations through the budget agreement. So that was a good thing, but we need to take a step further. And so, look, we're going to continue to doing the work. We're going to continue to have those conversations, and we're going to continue to be very, very clear, take it directly to the American people, as you saw the president do when he went to Texas, Brownsville, Texas, and be very clear on where we stand. The split screen that day could not have been more clear about where the president stands and what he wants to do. And he has continues to offer an olive branch to the other side to get this done. If they truly care about this, there's a way to do this. There's a way to meet the American people where they are. Majority of them is to move forward with that border deal. That's the way to move forward here.
John, on this resolution that the U.S. abstained to today, that was within the power of the United States to block, the Prime Minister said it gives Hamas hope the international pressure will allow them to accept a ceasefire without the release of our hostages. Is he wrong?
Yes.
Does the U.S. still have leverage to change language of future resolutions now that this language, without the Hamas component, has been put into place?
Well, let's see. I mean, there's just voted on this non-binding resolution today. I don't know of additional text that's coming, but we'll take each one in turn. And
quickly on the border, is the administration still considering executive action on the border?
I don't have any announcements to make with respect to executive action. I would remind that this argument that the president hasn't taken executive action or is just not true. He has kept American troops down there at the border. He has worked as commander-in-chief with the government of Mexico to improve their ability to try to stem that flow and to go after fentanyl traffickers. I mean, it's not as if he hasn't, but there is a real limit. That what really needs to be done, if you really care about the border and stemming the flow, is additional resources. And the president can't just sign those into being. You got to have funding behind that. You have to have a checking account for that. And that comes from the power of the person. That comes from Capitol Hill.
So is there nothing more that he can do outside of
I'm not going to get into anything more he would or wouldn't do. I certainly won't get ahead of the president's decision space on this. But the idea that he hasn't taken executive action when warranted is just not true. He has. But there is a real limit to executive action in terms of what's needed down there. What's needed is funding more than anything. And again, for all the people out there expressing concerns about the border, number one, we share those concerns, which is why the president put, billions of dollars into a national security supplemental to give the Border Patrol, to give the customs courts additional resources. You got to have funding for that.
Some of these meetings are